Welcome to another episode of the Tactical Empire. Let's get straight into it. We have a guest today, Mr. Adam Robbins. Adam Robbins is out of Miami, Florida, a gym owner, a entrepreneurial savant. How are you, sir? Tell us about what's going on in your life.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on the show here, Jeff and Sean. Super excited to kind of share like what's going on in my life and kind of my story and what I'm building. So I guess I could start off with all the chaos that's happening. Because I think one of the things that I had my mind to focus on today was mindset and perspective of how to move forward when when you're in the middle of a storm, right? Or it feels like that at least sometimes. This year, the 2025, has probably been one of my most difficult years so far. But I'm moving forward, right? I'm not stopping the ship from sailing. I'm gonna keep on pushing. I'm gonna keep on trusting and having my faith, and I know good things are on the horizon. So, but it started off. I mean, it kind of started off last year. My mother-in-law, who is a huge part of our lives, got diagnosed with leukemia, and she had a very rare case that was probably one of the most aggressive cases you can get out there. And through a season of 8 months of just dealing with all of the treatments and everything, um, that led into the beginning of this year where it started getting progressively worse, and just took a real big toll on my wife and her having to be there for her mom and support, and me having to like push back on some of my responsibilities so that I can be there with the kids so she could be with her mom, and then it led up to her mom passing on May 19th. So, she had a 14-year-old son who now we're moving forward with the adoption process, which just throws uh, a wrench in our tires to kind of figure that one out. He's going into high school, so there's a lot of working parts to that, and what he's going through as well. So trying to support him.
Yeah.
Um, and then Jeff, you kind of know about this. We briefly talked about it the other day, but I got into a pretty shitty investment and I lost about $120,000. I might get some of that back in a long period of time, but I'm not holding any eggs in that basket, right? I'm writing it off as a loss, and I'm moving forward, and I've learned a lot from that, right? It was something that nothing in the school system could have ever taught me. So I'm grateful, right? I'm grateful for the experience. There's a lot of other things that I won't get too in depth with, but father-in-law and other family matters all come into play when you talk about a death in the family, especially the one who was like the nucleus of the family, right? It's like she held everything together. So her absence now is definitely felt, and it makes a lot of tension, in all aspects. So, with that said, um, here I am, man. I'm still running my gym. I got three boys. They're crazy. One of them fell and busted his face and almost knocked both of his front teeth out yesterday. And I made him go to jujitsu the same night, teaching them the ropes. So I'm also, being a gym owner, I see I see a limited potential in growth in my ability not only to make more money but to impact more people, right? And so I've always been looking at the online world, and I'm working on that now. So I've been developing through this whole season of trials. I've been developing the back office and the systems and the workflows to this online community coaching and courses program that I'm putting out. And I call it the Live Long Collective. And it's basically a community of people where we go in and we educate equip and empower them to do the necessary things today so that they can have the life of freedom that they want as far as it goes with health, right? I'm really just focusing this whole thing on health. So um, my my uh, my community has a 7 pillar framework, which is we work on movement, nutrition, stress management, sleep, habits, mindset, and spirituality. I might have threw an extra one in there, but it sounded like I did. But we focus on those key components because I see so often as I'm coaching people with their health and fitness that there's always something that's lagging there, and when you can turn the dial on every single one of those, you get a holistic approach to wellness and you get better outcomes, at least for the people that I've been coaching. So that's my focus right now. That's what I'm moving towards. That's what I'm building, and I'm hoping to impact a whole lot of people doing it.
All right. So Adam, you just went into like all the things that you're going through currently, which I'm sure people can relate to, regardless of the scale at which the chaos and struggles and obstacles that are in someone's way. Like what's hard for me is the same hard for you, regardless of the situation. Someone said that it's like what I'm going through literally might be tougher, but what I define as hard is similar to how you define hard. So I think people can just relate to going through struggle. So I appreciate you showing that from different avenues of life, being family, business, or investments. But you kind of just went through the things that you do to help others. You own a gym that's certainly helping people. You're creating online content to help people. But how has Adam Robbins really helped himself over the years of being in business for over a decade now? So what do you do for you, or what do you do differently today than what you did 10 years ago when you first started building business?
Yeah. So everything that I do is different now. It's like quick backdrop of my story. I came out of addiction and didn't really have a life until I was 30, right? I was a slave to it basically. And I found my faith in God at 30 and I started my business at 31, right? And I have nothing other than a high school diploma, and I don't have any kind of education. I never worked in corporate, so there's no structure around any of that stuff. When I opened my first gym, it was some of my members of a gym that I was coaching at came up to me and they were like, "Hey, we don't believe in this whole thing, and we know you don't either." Kind of, that was the basis of it, and we want to open the gym with you. And we got the money, you got the know-how, and I just I was like, fake it till you make it kind of deal. I was like, okay, you're right, I got the know-how, right? I've been coaching for 3 years, so I know how to run a business, and I just jumped in and I winged it, right? So, now life is completely different, and I have to organize. I didn't have no kids or anything. I had just got married, so that was a new journey for me as well. So I just kind of like got on the bike and returned the wheels, man. However I could, I didn't. It was a forced thing. Now there's a lot more strategy around what I do, and I've learned a lot through coaching myself and hiring coaches that can lead me, right? They've been where I want to go, and that are doing what I want to do, and having them show me the ropes. But I think even with all of that, you still have doubt, still have unbelief. I struggle with that, and then the imposter syndrome that you're not supposed to be here. This is the wrong group for you. I struggle with that a lot, with insecurity and stuff, and I think that's one of the reasons why I believe it's so important that we focus on building a strong mindset of positive. I don't want to say positive thinking, right? But it really is, when it comes down to just the basics of it, is positive thinking, right? There's a thing that I've learned over the years of my personal development, that really can help me shift any moment in my life, right? Because I have this understanding that I can choose my thoughts, and if you do any kind of like meditation, so that's one of the things. If you want me to kind of label it, that's one of the things in meditation. For me, meditation helps create space between stimulus and response. So every day we're getting stimulated by something. It could be a conversation, it could be something on social media, it could be whatever. Somebody cuts you off in traffic. All of these stimulants are coming in every single day. Do we create the space so that we have the capacity to think about how we want to respond, as opposed to, just reacting to everything that happens? So once I learned it, I have the ability to, uh, think what I want to think or choose my thoughts. And this, I want to make sure that like it's not understood that like I'm choosing my thoughts every single second of every single day and nothing negative comes in. That's not what I'm saying. But I have the awareness that when I'm dwelling on something negative, like I know how to get out of that and change my direction with my thinking. And I think we could all agree that if we're in a negative mindset space, we all make poor decisions, right? Or at least we can make better decisions if we're in a positive mindset. Right? I don't know too many people that are like pissed off and negative, walking around making the best decisions of their lives, right? And so I think it's super important that we start to take control with what's happening up here first. As we're building out our lives and how we want them to look. So really quick, like the 3-step process for me is understanding that yes, I can choose what I want to think, and I know how to get to that place. It starts with my physiology, and that's why I love exercise. If you're in a pissed off mood, you could go for a run, you could get on a rebounder, like you could do something with your body, and you have the power to do that, right? You could choose how you carry yourself, right? Are your shoulders going to be back and upright, tall chest, chin up, or are you going to be droopy and hanging over, right? So you change your physiology and you start to change biochemicals in your body, and you start to feel better almost instantly. They had that research with the Superman pose, like stand with the Superman pose for 2 minutes and you start increasing all kinds of hormones and stuff. So that's the first thing. The second thing is focus. I ask myself questions like, what am I focused on? What am I saying repeatedly to myself, right? Is this a bad thing or is this a good thing, right? I when I'm teaching people about this, I always use that example of that girl, right? She lost her arm in California surfing from a shark attack, and she got up and she learned how to ride a board again, and she went out there and broke records and inspired the world, right? But how many people probably in their lives in Hawaii have got attacked by a shark, lost a limb, and now the world is over, right? Because they put a different meaning to it, right? This meant that their life was over and they weren't going to be able to do what they dreamed about doing. And then the last thing that I go to is the language that I'm saying. Like, what are the words that I'm using? Because I'm a firm believer that there's life and death in the power of the tongue, and that goes especially for myself. So what am I saying to myself, and what am I saying out loud to other people, right? So I always try and have this fine-tuned awareness of like what I'm saying to myself.
Awesome.
That was a mouthful.
No, it's all good, man. All good. Yeah. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, go ahead. So, Adam, you talked about meditation there. What does your day-to-day look like? Take us through a normal day for you as you balance business building and family building, and then just building a self-disciplined man.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll say that by no means am I perfect at this. There's always room for improvement. There's always, the opportunity to grow. And I think that's important to keep that frame of mind. Like, how can I get better? But I wake up early, 4:30, 4:15, 4:30 every morning, pretty much. And then I go into my morning with all of my supplements that I take. Right now I'm doing a juice fast every Monday through Wednesday. So I don't eat pretty much until midday, and then I'm eating a lot less than what I normally would. So morning is full of a bunch of juices. It's a quiet time for me. I usually plug my headphones in and start listening to, for me, it's worship music in the morning. It gets my mind focused on God, and it grounds me with perspective that, you know, I like to think that this life isn't all about me. And if I jump up out of my bed and run out the door, then I'm focusing. I tend to focus on, okay, what do I need to do? And it turns into this me thing. But on a good day, when I'm waking up and I'm getting my meditation on, I'm thinking about God, I'm reading through scriptures, I'm meditating on what the scriptures are saying. That keeps me grounded and focused on outwardly on others, and then it allows me to then kind of, I want to say, forget about everything that I'm going through, but it puts it on the back burner, right? And you know, one of the things that I know that brings fulfillment and joy in my life is the service to others, contribution. All right, and it's not necessarily. I think when I used to hear that word contribution, I always thought of it like a financial thing, right? But it's so much more than that. It's like, how can I give to the service of others? And when I get into that mindset, and that usually happens in my morning while I'm reading through my scriptures or meditating on the word, or listening to my worship music, I kind of cycle through those things if I'm mentioning all of them. Um, However, I feel that day I'm not very like structured that it has to be one thing or the other. Um, but that's kind of how I start my morning out, and that gives me focus, man. So I go into the job. I got a couple clients that I deal with in the morning, and if I can serve them. I can ask them all about them, and I can not only deliver great workouts for them and help them move forward with their health and fitness, but also serve them in a different capacity, right? Like, what their challenges and struggles are, and helping them overcome those. Um, I guess if you get into my midday, I'm usually done at the gym at like 10 o'clock, and that's kind of when I wind down. I take a minute. I don't rush into the next thing. So it helps me. I try not to like give myself anxiety, man, because with three boys, all under the age of 6, you know, it's very easy to do that. So I take it slow in my transitions, so I give myself some space there. Yeah, and that's kind of like how my day flows. I get into my work after that. I start doing work stuff, but that's kind of, you know, what it is.
Perfect. Adam, so you came into the Tactical Empire's inner circle a few months ago. So what were you looking for, and what are you getting out of it here in the first few months of being in the group?
Yeah. So, I mean, I knew exactly what I was looking for. I was looking for a community of men that are doing high level things that I could look at, that I could model, that I could mirror. Because I know a lot of the guys in the tactical empire. I know Jeff, I know you, Sean, and I know what you guys are about. There was something that I put in one of my posts the other day. Is like, what you model gets magnified or multiplies, right? And that just gives me a way to look at things differently now. I say, okay, what are they modeling? If I watch what they're doing, is that something that I want to be a part of, right? Because whatever they're doing, everybody else behind them is probably doing the same thing, right? They're multiplying or magnifying whatever they're. So, like, I knew right away that this was something that I wanted to be a part of, because again, like I said, I have that insecurity, a little insecurity, where it's like I feel like I don't know what I need to do, and sometimes I need to see other people doing things to give me the confidence and the boldness to step out and do something, and do something courageous. And that could be the thing that I love about the Tactical Empire, is that it's not only finance, right? That's a big component of it, and it's a big piece that I need help with. But it's wrapped around faith, fitness. I mean, not faith, fitness, family, and freedom as well. And those things are right in alignment with my own personal values, you know. So I want to be surrounded by people that are focused on their fitness, I don't want people dragging me in a different direction. I want to be around people that are focused on creating freedom so that they can be with their family, and that have the same values that I do, and I see that in both of you guys, and so that's why I'm here.
Love it.
Well, we appreciate you having being here. We're going to end on this one just so we can hold you accountable. You can hold yourself accountable, and the audience can hold you accountable. What is the area that you're going to make the biggest improvement on in the next 90 days leading up to our meetup in not Scottsdale, Little Rock, Arkansas?
Yeah, man, I'm excited about that one. When you say the area, are you talking about one of the 4 areas of the tactical empire?
It'll probably fall in one of those areas. We can connect it, but the biggest area in your life that you're going to make the most progress in between now and Little Rock.
So I mean, it's right in. I would draw a line in between the my business would be finances and my family, because right now my finances are crap, right? My business ain't doing great. I just lost 120 grand. It is what it is. I got kicked in the balls. I learned a lot of lessons, but I'm also going through the family thing. My wife needs me. My kids need me. We had a big loss, and I need to show up, right? And I need to show up every day, and I need to show up for those 2 things. And that's my only focus right now, nothing else.
I love that, man. Sometimes these situations that are very hard to go through and you feel like the weight of the world's on you are really good galvanizers of your focus. And like they sometimes turn into blessings in disguise because of the blinders that they put on you, where there's like no time for anything else, no time for your squirrel brain to be running around looking at other opportunities, no time for you to be doing other shit. Like you gotta hold down the family side of things with a new child coming into the household. You've gotta really go back into the business and get down to the fundamentals and grow it. And like the reality of it is we don't need more than 1 or 2 things to be working on at any point in time. Because if you spread your focus, you get spread out results, and that's not what we're looking for. People don't understand the ability to focus. And so sometimes these tragedies bring our ability to focus into a tight shot group, and it can be very beneficial for your future. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do over the next 2 or 3 months and get back on good foundation with everything. And the trajectory, man, is just phenomenal for you. So I know that you've had some setbacks. We've talked for a while about different things. So I'm looking forward to you getting stabilized for a little while.
Yeah, man. Only one way to go from here, man. My back is against the wall, so I got to go forward.
Precisely.
One of the biggest things that I learned though about myself through this whole thing is that I have this tendency to think that other stuff can do more than I can, and I think it's part of what kind of blinded me to this poor investment, is that I thought this was going to be my out for something. It was going to be the thing that set me apart. And, through reflection and, just prayer and meditating on everything that happened, it's like I realized that I'm the one, right? I'm the thing that needs to be invested in the most. And I do, but even though I invest in myself, there's a limiting factor of me like implementing that I know. And so now it's all about me, right? And I say that in a way that like I'm taking action. I'm just trusting that the education, the books, the seminars, all the stuff that I've ever done is going to manifest itself as I continue to take action and move forward. I'm not investing in anything until my businesses are freaking both rocking it, and they're going to be rocking it because of the things that I did, the effort that I put into it, and I'm going to grow it organically like that.
Yeah. So many people make that mistake, man. We're always looking for the quick fix. We're always looking for the corner to cut, and it's not it's not something you should feel guilty about necessarily, but like ultimately I think wisdom comes with this over time. and there's just absolutely no avoiding the fucking work. And ultimately that's where you always get reset to, is like,
Yeah.
okay, here you are, here's your two businesses, go do the fucking work, Adam. And like you're like, well, I could do this other thing and it'll fast track me to another 10 grand a month, another 20 grand a month, another 30 grand a month. And like ultimately it could look good for a minute, but in my experience, having done the same things multiple times, like you're always going to get brought back to the beginning. And ultimately the lesson is the same. It's delayed gratification. It's do the work. It's you've got to go the steady route, building a solid wide foundation, a mile wide. And like it just takes that work. And so the quicker you can realize that, the further ahead you'll get over time. And this is not me projecting on you at all. I think we've all learned this lesson to some extent, because we have all been successful enough in business that we have a little capital, we have the ability to go do something, and we're like, oh, this would be great if this could replace this, right? And
Yeah.
and then a lot of times it ends up biting you in the ass, and you have to go backwards a little bit and get reset, not always to zero, just to a place that you have to learn a few lessons. And that tuition, it can be expensive. And that tuition for me, I can't deal with it costing me any more time. I'm too fucking old. And so like time is my biggest thing. And like, I don't care how much money it costs. I'm not making those mistakes anymore because it cost me years of development, right? And years of progress.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good, man. For sure. I'm right on board with that.
All right. Jeff, Adam, we appreciate you coming in and sharing your life's journey and currently what you're working on and where you're going to be in the next few months. Jeff, if you want, send the people out. Well, let's ask Adam. Adam, where can people reach you first? And then we'll have Jeff send the people out.
Yeah, so I have website info at DNAfitnessNation.com. That is my gym address. There's a landing page there. You just put your information in. I also sent over a link that goes straight to my calendar. If anybody needs any help with their health, fitness, habit formation, things like that, that's what I love doing. I love doing mindset work. So I've sent you guys my personal link. And I've blocked out specific times, so if you want to throw that up there when you post this, then they can reach out to me directly there.
Perfect. We'll have the team put all that in the production notes and the show notes. Awesome, man. That's really generous of you. Thank you. So, guys, if you want to take him up on a consultation, he's there for you. Guys, you can find us on the Tactical Empire on all the platforms. You can go ahead and subscribe and like our YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. We have tons of content out there for you guys to learn. As always, you can reach out to Sean and I directly. Instagram's probably the best place to get a hold of us and have a back and forth conversation, at least for me. And guys, if you need anything, hit us up. We have the Tactical Empire community. It's a free community on Facebook. Feel free to hop in there, get some education, ask some questions. We monitor that and are active in there as well. So have a great week, kick ass, and we will see you soon. Thank you, Sean and Adam, for your time. We appreciate you, and go be great, guys.